manager, see if he's available?
Well, you're gonna have to because you got my stuff locked in my room.
For sure. Or we could call the police department and see if they could get in, if you prefer that.
I don't really care. You just need to get me in that room to get my stuff out.
Yeah, I just gave you an option for that.
That's up to you. It's your responsibility, however you would like to do that.
For sure. Yeah, putting me in charge of your diabetic medication is definitely my responsibility.
Well, I
do
think you
that.
need to calm down a little bit. I also train customer service reps. One thing you always remember is the customer is right. So all I'm asking is you to get this department you can do with the manager. I do not care.
Okay.
Welcome back. And if this is your first time here, I appreciate y'all pulling up real quick. I just got to cover a few things, right? So the content I have for you today is a woman who is a receptionist who is working at a hotel, a gentleman who has lost his key, has left his diabetic medicine in his hotel room. The woman who is there seems to be the only one staffed for the night. He needs his medicine and entry into his room that he paid for. She doesn't feel comfortable doing that. Let's play the clip.
Call my manager, see if he's available.
Well, you're gonna have to because you got my stuff locked in my room.
We feel you, for sure. Or we could call the police department and see if they could get in, if you prefer that.
I don't really care. You just need to get me in that room to get my stuff out.
Yeah, I just gave you an option for that.
That's up to you. It's your responsibility, however you would like to do that.
For sure. Yeah, putting me in charge of your diabetic medication is definitely my responsibility.
Well, I
do
think
that.
you need to calm down a little bit. I also train customer service reps. One thing you always remember is the customer is right. So all I'm asking is you to get this department you can do with the manager. I do not care.
Okay, so I can definitely go ahead and call non-emergency for you.
I don't care. You're going to pay the bill.
I'm definitely not.
No, you're
it's best. I'll
call
definitely
your
go
manager
ahead.
first is what I would do to get his okay to do whatever you're going to do. If I was in your position, I wouldn't take that responsibility.
Oh, no, for sure. If there was a manager available, he would probably be here right now. So being the only person here, like I said, I will go ahead and take this into the hands that I think is the most professional.
That's what you should do.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, for sure. So I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible for both of us. No, for sure. I just don't like that your first option was for me to go down there by myself to help you into the room. That was your first
because you
response.
believed me that it was working.
No, it rooms twice for two different reasons, and I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either. I've never had that problem here.
For sure.
A lot of money here.
I do know that. Yeah, I do work here. I do know that.
Stay.
Go ahead, and I will call and see what we can get done. Sound good to you?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. That was crazy. We're going to watch it through again.
And also, I can't do that, but I could call my manager, see if he's available.
So she says that she's the only person working. She's the only person working this night, and that if the manager was available, the manager would be the one at the receptionist desk handling you as a customer about replacing your key and giving you access to your room. Now, everybody, you may not have owned a hotel, you may not have owned a business, but you've been to a hotel and you should be able to understand this concept about a business, right? When you're a manager, you manage other employees. You have other employees that handle specific tasks, right? You hire the chef, the chef to make the meals, right? The chef doesn't clean the floors, the chef doesn't greet the guests, the chef doesn't do none of that. The chef just makes the food. The receptionist helps the person that comes to the front desk as far as getting information, checking in and out of your room, assisting you with services with your room. That's what they're for. And manager oversees all that and delegates responsibilities. Easy concept, right? So let's talk about this situation right here. If the manager has left you in charge, right? It means that you should be able to handle responsibilities. Based on this woman's actions alone, if I was a manager and I saw this footage, I would fire her immediately. And I'd probably have to hire a man, right? I shouldn't have to do that, but I would, in this predicament right here, if I watch this, I'd say I may have to hire a guy to do this because you're affecting business right now, right? You're not in some sketchy hotel without cameras. You have a cell phone. The guest is not telling you to leave your cell phone somewhere. You could even tell, like, yo, let me get the cleaning lady because she's saying she's the only one there. I would say, hey, listen, the only way for me to do that is for me to create you a key or either use my master key here to get you into your room. Can you I don't know, sit here, let me, or just give me some space. Let me open your door, and then whatever, cock your door, and then you can go into your room. He's looking for his diabetic medicine. Like, I, I, what do you expect him to do if he doesn't have his key? Should he die, or should he go into some kind of cardiac arrest because you don't feel comfortable letting him into the room that he paid for?
I was going to have to because you got my stuff locked in my room.
We feel you, for sure. Or we could call the police department and see if they could get in, if you prefer that.
I don't really care. You just need to get me in that room to get my stuff out.
Yeah, I just gave you an option for that.
That's up to you. It's your responsibility, however you would like to do that.
For sure. Yeah, putting me in charge of your diabetic medication is definitely my responsibility.
She says, putting me in charge of your diabetic medication, yeah, that's my responsibility. What? It has nothing to do with your responsibility. Your real only responsibility is to make sure I can get in and out of my room. That's your job. Your job is not to make sure I take my medication.
I think you need to calm down a little bit.
And
also
live.
Customer service reps. One thing you always remember is the customer is right. So all I'm asking is you to get this department, you can do with the manager. I do not care.
Okay, so I can definitely go ahead and call non-emergency for you.
I don't care. You're going to pay the bill.
I'm definitely not.
You know,
And then she says, and he says, you're going to pay the bill. Well, I wouldn't even have to say that. Like, if you're a hotel who don't have procedures to make sure that if a person is locked out, they still have access to the stuff in their room, and you're not trying to accommodate me, however you have to get that done, that's going to be on you. That's not something that has to be said, but it seems like he's already felt like he's been antagonized. So he felt like, all right, let me just make sure I can have a little jab back in the most professional way, right? Let's go.
Yes, I'll
call
definitely
your
go
manager
ahead.
first is what I would do to get his okay to do whatever you're going to do. If I was in your position, I wouldn't take that responsibility.
Oh, no.
He's saying, if I was in your position, I wouldn't have to call the police because they may charge a fee or whatever. Even if not, you're going to waste the police time trying to get me into my room of your business. That's a waste of time. But if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do, right? Which is what he's saying.
For sure. If there was a manager available, he would probably be here right now. So being the only person here, like I said, I will go ahead and take this into the hands that I think is the most professional.
That's what you should do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The most professional thing to do is to do your job. Go open that man's door, take whatever precautions you may need, right? And do your job. If these are the type of women, if you say, hey, listen, I can't have you working here no more because the responsibility I need handled, you don't feel comfortable doing it. And this is a business. This is not your hobby, right? I need someone here who is going to do their job, whether it makes them comfortable or not. If not, they shouldn't be working here. You can't force your soft feelings on working here. Granted, there's times where men have done things to women. And this kind of setup, I want to say, for every woman who's stayed who's worked at a hotel and a man has been locked out there and a man has been locked out the room, the chances of a man taking that as an opportunity to violate a woman, I'm gonna say like 1 in every 5,600 and some interactions. Like that's not the highest chance of something happening. You didn't have to tell him you're the only one on the shift. All you had to do was your job. Let him in and out the room. If you need to take safety precautions, you do that. You get somebody on the phone, whatever. Yo, if I can help, just, you know what to do. This is your job. Me, I'm going to fire your ass. You in the comments or you watching this video, tell me what would you do? Would you be okay with this? You run a hotel business that feeds your family, feeds your community, and then you have employees who are like, hey, listen, I'm going to treat your business like my hobby. If I don't feel safe, then a person will die here because they don't have access to their diabetic medication because I don't feel comfortable. Let me know if you think that's a good way to conduct business. I'd have let her ass go. Well, this is what you fought for. You fought to be in the workplace. Now you miss. She gotta go. She gotta go. She need to do some feelings work. Feelings.
No, for sure. I just don't like that your first option was for me to go down there by myself to help you into the room.
I
That was your first
because you
response.
believed me that it was working.
No, your room was twice.
And then she says, I'm upset that your first option was the receptionist, to go down there and like open your room door. Like, I didn't like that. You didn't like that? You didn't like doing your job? I've stayed at hundreds of hotels. That's the procedure last time I checked. I stayed at a hotel like a month ago. Last time I checked, if I were to lose my key, I don't go looking for the manager. I will if I have to, but I don't go looking for the manager. Nah, no. I go to the receptionist at the front that's waiting for my service. And I say, hey, Mr. or Miss, I'm sorry, lost my key. Is there any how you can get me in my room real quick? And you know what they're going to say? Goddamn right. That's my job. I got you, sir. Let me wrap up what I got going on here, and I'll go assist you with your room, right? Sometimes they may say, let me call somebody to come help you, right? If you're by yourself, and I'm talking about there's no cleaning people, there's no nothing, you still have to let me in my room. You still have to let me in my room. There is no, you don't feel comfortable, so I, Luch, cannot get into his room. Ma'am, you didn't hear me? I said my diabetic medicine is in there? You ain't hear me? Miss, my diabetic, I got you. Yo, my diabetic medicine is in the room, miss. You know what I mean? Like, I need to get to that. I lost my key, but I gotta get to my meds. I need your assistance. And she is like, your meds? Meds? Man, listen.
Two different reasons, and I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either. I've never had that.
I don't like that.
For sure. I do know that. Yeah, I do work here. I do know that. Go ahead, and I will call and see what we can get done. Sound good to you?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Whether or not I'm the only person here right now, so I can't do that. But I could call.
Like, imagine, imagine that phone call, right? Because we're gonna call this woman Sharon. Sharon is gonna go. Let me go handle that real quick. Let me call my manager. Manager's sitting in his home. Finally got the day off. He don't got to delegate responsibility because he chose Sharon because Sharon wanted the shift. And he goes, oh shit, my phone's ringing. Yo, what's good, Sharon? Ben, there's a man here and he lost his key and he said he's diabetic and he thinks it's my responsibility to get him in his room. Can you, like, tell him something? Ben is like, Sharon, you gotta let him in his room. Ben, I never agreed to feel unsafe in order to do my job. Sharon, we'll talk about that later, but you gotta let this man in his room. Like, that's just the procedure, Sharon. You gotta let him in his room, Sharon. Ben, I swear to God, I'm going to quit, Ben. I'm not playing. All right, I have 4 kids at home, and I'm not down. I need you to tell him he has to pass away or call the ambulance to get his diabetic medicine because I can't. I don't feel safe. I took the shift. I get it, but no, I'm not letting him in his room. No. He's like, oh, okay. Sharon, you gotta let him in his room. You gotta let him in his room, Sharon. And she's like, Ben, I swear to fuck, if I have to let him in this room, I quit, Ben. And Ben is like, all right, Sharon, you gotta let him in his room, Sharon. It's unfortunate you feel that way, but if he passes away from not getting his diabetic medicine, we're gonna face a whole lot of trouble. And I'm recording this call so that way it's proof that I told you to let that man in his room. So Sharon, I think your best bet is to kind of just let that man in his room or just call the police and we'll deal with it. But you're fired. Let's just be real. If I have to call the police and let that man in his room, Sharon, you got to go. Sharon's like, I don't got to do nothing. I quit, Ben. Boop. Ben is... You gotta get dressed and head down to the hotel. You over here, goddamn Sharon. Honey, I told you. Ugh. Put his tie on the suit. Jumping out. Oh my God. He's calling sharing every in the book. But you let me know. Let me know. Would you keep this person as an employee? Would you work with her? Would you allow this? This one got my do-rag all here flipping up. See, I'm blaming her. Anyways, yeah, man. Jump in the comments and let me know, what would you think? What do you think, man? Do you think that this is all right? This is like, she's right, yo. She shouldn't have to go to, let that man in his room. I've been to plenty of hotels, and when I'm locked out, I just gotta deal with it because I lost my key. So she should keep her job. Or are you with me on this? And you're like, Sharon, if Sharon decides to show up Tuesday for his normal shift, I am going to bring a pie to throw in her face as I fire her. Like, I'm going to violate this woman verbally if she appears at this hotel on Tuesday. Let me know. Let me know. Because, man. And please, I got like 300 subscribers. I got like 300 subscribers. Feel free to like and subscribe, man. Let's get this content out, man. So I got some, I'm trying to get on YouTube. I'm trying to get on a book, man. I'm posting this on Facebook and YouTube because, man, I'm trying to get my numbers up. You heard me? Anyways, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Peace.
You're not here, Mississippi. Suck your mother.